Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your Monday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, is the community ready to sample the new way of dining out as people get back to dining in? Tonight, we check in with a couple local restaurants and casinos exactly 1 week after doors reopened, adding a little COVID precaution chaos to the cuisine. Well, if you ventured out, you know the way we wine and dine is different. Q2's Mitch Laggy touched bases with a couple local favorites to see how they fared.
Some Billings restaurants are getting back into the swing of being open after almost 2 months of being closed.
It's been a little up and down, but it's been some good nights and some slower ones. We're still doing a lot of to-go orders.
Bistecca at the Granary has kept up with its new to-go service while it let customers into the dining room last week. Preparing food for both services at the same time has been a challenge.
It gets a little hectic in the kitchen at times because it seems in Billings everyone's between 6 and 7 is where everybody wants to eat, so everything kind of hits at once, so it takes a little bit slow at times. Depends on how we get hit and what items they do pick from our limited menu that we do have out.
The usual 300-person capacity at Bistecca has been reduced by half by removing tables, and menus have been changed to be disposable, among other sanitation procedures. Similar health practices are being followed at CJ's Bar and Grill. Ownership there said the regulars all stopped by last week and were understanding about not being able to have a seat at the bar.
Everyone coming in here, the whole city has been more understanding with what's going on. We're not alone. They understand that they want to come out here and they want to come to a safe environment, and they trust that we're providing a safe environment, and truly I think we have been.
Burton said the casino at CJ's has been a little more tough to keep sanitized, with gamblers often wanting to switch machines when they're not winning. But he said his staff is keeping up with it, and signs are available to temporarily close machines if they need to be sanitized.
That's kind of hard to police, but the casino staff's done a great job of managing that situation and kind of going forward with it.
Staff at both restaurants said business was big in-house and for takeout on Mother's Day over the weekend.
Friday night was a good night. Saturday was decent, and then last night would be in Mother's Day. We had a lot of to-goes, but we also had a lot of people come in and sit down and enjoy it with their mothers and their families, so it was good.
The restaurant staff thanked the Billings community for its support during the COVID-19 pandemic. In Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Mitch. Now, he tells us that CJ's was able to keep its kitchen staff employed during the shutdown and hired all of the front of house staff back. At Bistecca, some kitchen staff positions had to be cut, but most of the servers were hired back on. Well, this Friday, gyms, fitness studios, movie theaters, and museums have the option to reopen here in Montana. Of course, they must follow strict capacity, social distance, and sanitation rules. Now, onto the weather scene, and Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire is here to tell us how long this needed but not necessarily wanted wet weather.
Did you notice the snowflakes today?
I sure did.
We call it an unsettled weather pattern, and let me show you the reason why, because basically the weather can't decide what it wants to do. It wants to be rain, spring, or whatever, but here's what we have today. Look at this, 6 p.m. You got scattered snow showers and mountain, little rain down here in the Billings area. We're looking at more rain showers again throughout the afternoon on Tuesday. What about Wednesday? More scattered rain showers again. Then it looks like by the time Thursday gets here, a little break in the action. On Friday, we're looking at maybe some more scattered rain showers moving in as well. And then what about on Saturday? It looks like things dry up in the morning, but here comes some more spotty showers later on that evening. Now, what about the temperatures? Well, check this out. It's going to be 57 degrees on Tuesday, then into the 60s on Wednesday and Thursday, down to 60 again on Friday, but up to 67 degrees on Saturday. And finally, by the time Sunday gets here, we get up to 76. We'll have more in your forecast in a few more minutes,
All right, thanks so much, Bob. Well, late this afternoon, Bighorn County confirmed its 4th case of COVID-19. Now, this new case, a woman in her 20s. Health authorities have begun tracing the contacts of this new case. As with previous cases, all close contacts will be notified, interviewed, and given instructions for further action if required. Due to limited testing supplies in Bighorn County, people who are not named as a close contact and are not sick should not seek testing. This case actually leaves the state total at 459 and the active cases at 20 tonight. Now, that's because the Jefferson County Health Department says a new active case reported over the weekend is actually a man who has not been in Montana for several weeks and did not acquire coronavirus here. And in Wyoming, 6 new confirmed cases today, bringing the state's total to 510, but so far 451 people have recovered. Well, Montana will ramp up testing and tracing this week. Governor Steve Bullock announced today that the state has received an additional 19,500 swabs and other supplies to test Montanans with COVID symptoms. In a press release, Bullock says it's critical to have access to supplies to identify new cases and ambitiously contact trace to remove chains of transmission and contain the virus. Now, Bullock would like to get to 2,000 tests per day and prioritize testing in nursing homes, tribal communities, and continue testing people with symptoms. There were 865 completed in the last 24-hour reporting period. Well, thousands of nursing students are going to graduate this spring, and although nothing can prepare them for entering the workforce during a pandemic, many are rising to the challenge. MTN's Andy Curtis has more on those who are stepping up to work on the front lines.
This year's nursing school graduates will be entering the workforce in one of the most difficult periods the profession has seen in recent times.
I don't think there's a ton that could prepare us for it because, no one's really been prepared for it.
Julia Wilbur just graduated from Carroll College. She's taken a job at a Washington, D.C. hospital. D.C. has become an emerging epicenter for COVID-19 with continual growth in daily cases and deaths.
It can be difficult and worrisome to think about at times, but at the same time, I've spent the last 3 to 4 years, gathering all these skills to be able to help. So I would rather use my skills to be a helpful person instead of letting fear kind of hold me back.
Patients and their families depend on nurses to be pillars of strength and guidance during difficult times. But it can be very difficult to prepare a student to be ready to take on that kind of load. But ultimately, nurses just want to help those in need.
Nursing is more than just a job. It is a calling.
Maria Bronson is an associate nursing professor at Carroll College. Educators work to give future nurses not just the knowledge needed to care and treat patients, but also to take care of themselves.
I think it's a very stressful time. And one thing that we try to do with our graduates is to help them build the skills and techniques to maintain good self.
Bronson says they discuss the importance of regular sleep, a healthy diet, self-reflection, and faith. Skills that have become increasingly important with nurses and nursing students across all experience levels. Like Helena College junior Ashley Levine, who is working as a nursing assistant during the pandemic. Levine says the whole experience has made her a better nurse and not once thought about throwing in the towel.
When you work in healthcare, the job never really ends. I don't have any, underlying conditions that would stop me from working. So I was like, if they need the help, I'm ready to help.
Andy Curtis and John Riley for MTN.
Thanks so much, Andy, and thank you to all of the nurses out there. It is also that time of year to celebrate our high school graduates, and that means getting creative with annual grad party events. Cece Bentler, chair of the 2020 Billings Senior Grad celebration, says this year the high school has planned a parade. Bentler says they wanted to do something just as big and just as memorable as the grads in the past. Well, they raised money for the event by holding what they call the Bronc Derby. The Derby challenged all Billings Senior alumni to see which class would raise the most cash. And in 1 week, former senior high alum raised $20,000.
They can be in pickup trucks and cars. Pickup trucks are limited to 2 to 3 kids just for spacing. They have to have a face cover, so we've ordered the kids a Bronc themed face cover that'll be a kind of a piece of memorabilia as well for the, in 30 years they might want to show their grandchildren their kooky graduation party swag.
Now, the parade starts at Senior High on Friday, May 22nd at 6 p.m. Now, Bentler says she is grateful for the community support and local businesses that have donated to this event. Well, tonight we want to tell you about a new effort to help Montanans recover from the financial impacts of COVID-19. Q2's Russ Riesinger is standing by now in the Q2 newsroom to tell us all about it. Russ.
Well, Jeanelle, the Rebound Montana Relief Fund is a partnership between MTN, AMB West Philanthropies, and the Montana Community Foundation. Now, this isn't the first time the three of us have teamed up to help Montanans in need. You may remember our 2017 Montana Wildfire Relief Fund raised more than $600,000 to help rural volunteer fire departments all thanks to contributions from viewers like you. This year, in the wake of the devastating impact that COVID-19 has had on families and businesses, we're renewing that partnership. We've created a statewide fund to provide safety net funding for rural and tribal communities adversely affected by the pandemic.
There will be organizations that cease to exist because they just financially are not able to continue. Really what we're talking about here is resiliency and focusing on minimizing disruptions as best we can.
If you can contribute, please go to ktvq.com/relief. There you can assess the various funds that have been set up. MTN and AMB West Philanthropies will match the first $150,000 donated to the Montana COVID-19 Relief Fund. So anything that you can afford is a way that we can all help our fellow Montanans rebound. Jeanelle, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Russ. Up next on tonight's 5:30 News, Yellowstone National Park buses are a huge part of what drives its tourism industry, but things could come to a complete stop. We go behind the gates for details. And in sports, Scott introduces your 5 female finalists for Wednesday's Athlete of the Year banquet.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.